Well, listen, congratulations on the announcement. A few things I want to talk to you about because I watched it,
Mhm.
and my first reaction to it was, "It's over? I need more.
Well,
I
I guess
need
that's good
more."
then. I guess that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the origins of it. I mean, you've done a feature film before, you've done other things. Why did you decide to do a short like this?
Yeah, so I've done three feature films
Yeah.
at this stage. The last film that I did, called The Dancing Dogs of Dumbrova, played a number of festivals,
Mhm.
and luckily we won some awards that came
Yeah.
with some prize money and some equipment rental grant money to the grande camera and whites, and they had a year expiration date, and it was coming up this spring, and I was like, I should use those. I should do something, do
Sure.
something creative and do something different. And I was trying to think of what I wanted to do, and I hadn't done a short in a while, and I wanted to do something that was kind of not, I guess, experimental, but at least kind of challenging. And I had this idea one night of, oh, it would be cool if we come across these, at least this one person, and we don't know what their story is, and we kind of spend a little bit of time with them,
Yeah.
and then we kind of leave them for a while, and then we were like, oh wait, there's somebody else here too, and what is this correlation between them? And as we kind of go back and forth and learn new things and recontextualize things that we might have already assumed, and it kind of just spurred from that. And I started speaking with and brought on the writer RJ Lackey,
Hmm.
and kind of pitched him that little nugget of an idea, and he seemed to really gravitate towards it. And I know he has a great genre background as well. He did Inhuman Condition and
Yeah.
Darken, and so wanted to kind of give it this suspenseful thriller type vibe. And he was really on board with kind of collaborating and creating this piece. And so it kind of just spiraled from there, and was just like, all right, let's
Yeah.
create these self-imposed limitations. Let's do it in and really difficult, I guess, self-imposed limitations of, let's not cut, let's just do it in one long take throughout an
Yes.
entire house without any dialogue,
Well,
and
yeah,
let's see what
yeah.
happens.
I want to ask you about that because even just choreographing that had to have taken a lot of time and, being very
Yeah.
careful. I mean, that's insane what you do with the
Hmm.
camera. It is seamless, but to me, I would think it's a lot of work and a lot of planning.
It is, yeah. And a lot of times when you see one shots like Bergman or 1917, which are both fantastic,
Yeah.
um, they are, because they're a feature, it's constructed in a multiple of like hidden cuts, and they're done very, very well. And
Hmm.
especially in 1917, they're seamless. You would never know where the cut points are.
For sure.
But for the short film, we're like, let's, the cut points make it easier for it. It becomes a crutch at that point where you're like, oh, if this one portion isn't perfect, we have another take that we can use and we can stitch it together. And for this one, I was like, nah, no, let's just actually do it in a
Yeah.
true oneer. And yeah, to your point, it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of prep work. It's a lot of, on me, I created like previs for the entire short film,
Hmm.
from start to finish. So I had a guide to show the team and the creatives and the actors and the stunt coordinator and everybody to say, hey, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. And it actually ended up being pretty close.
Yeah.
But it was getting a core group of really talented people on board and kind of selling them on the idea and saying, hey, let's, what does this look like to you? And getting their feedback and just collaborating and, exploring from there.
Hmm. Your actors are great, and they must have
Yes.
been fun to work with and stuff. I have to ask you about that house because that is a character in itself. That is
It's a
insane. That
gr-
house. It's
it's a
beautiful.
great house.
How did you
Yeah.
find it?
A lot of knocking on doors.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's certain areas, because I knew I wanted this more of like the modern open style, open concept um, type of home.
Yeah.
Not just because it allows flexibility from from camera and a movement point of view, because there's more space to work with,
Right.
but just from the characters, like, and the tone of the piece. it has this, it's absolutely beautiful, but it also is a little bit stark,
Exactly.
a little bit cold,
Yeah.
especially since the characters in the film like have just moved in, so like not as much personality in the home because they're just getting settled themselves. And so I was really looking for a home like that, and just got really lucky. We found a couple of homeowners that were open to having us there for a weekend, and the home was beautiful and great, and even opened up new kind of areas of exploration for us. Because what's great about having this collaboration is you find this house that has especially connecting from the kitchen to the dining room. There's this little pantry area.
Yeah, I love that.
I would have never thought of including in a script, and neither would RJ, because I'd never really seen that. And we come across this house and we're like, oh, that's really cool. There's a really nice connecting tissue from this area, from this location to this location. What can we put that was already in the script, but put it in this new area, and it completely changes the emotional impact of it.
Right.
And so there was great back and forth, once we even found a location, with the the writing of it and from the actors as well.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, when we first began talking, I don't want to give anything away, of course, because it's very suspenseful, and but leaves us hanging and stuff. Now, do you ever think about maybe doing some kind of continuation and like making this into kind of a series? I mean, this is so cool.
Yeah, you're not the first to ask that. It's and to be completely truthful, it wasn't the intention going into this to expand this into a feature or a series, but if there's an appetite for it, people are like, hey, we really like this idea, this concept, this motif, we want to know more.
Right.
I would not be against going to RJ and say like, all right, you know what, there are people are wanting this. Let's see what that looks like.
I think we need their backstory and tell like how we get them there. Like, I just think that there's a lot of possibilities to go with it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think what could be interesting is, because I'm never one to say like, all right, we made a short and that's just 12 minutes of a longer piece. Like, like, I think it stands alone in and of itself, but it's like, okay, if we were to translate it into in a different format, you take it and you adapt it. Like, it can't be the same thing. You can't just say this is a piece of it. But I think taking what makes it tick and what people are connecting to, and exploring that in a new way could be really interesting.
Great. Well, clearly you have tons of ideas going on in that little head of yours. So I want to know what's going on next. Anything that you're working on?
Yeah, well, the film I mentioned, The Dancing Dogs of Dumbrova, is actually, it'll be released by Film Movement end of September.
Oh, that's fantastic.
September
news.
22nd.
Yeah, because I was reading a bit, but I'd like to see it, and then we can maybe talk a little bit more about it when it's coming up for release. But I love the concept of this because it's, from what I understand, it was kind of inspired by your booby.
It was, yeah, by my booby, my grandmother. She's from a town called Dumbrova Granica. She had a dog named Peter, and she's 98.
Oh my gosh!
Now.
God bless her. Amazing.
I know.
Amazing. How's she been doing during all of this?
She's been okay. I think she's been keeping. She lives at home with a live-in, and she's healthy.
Good for her.
And I think it's hard because we haven't really been seeing her because she's so old. Like she's
it's hard.
At risk.
Yeah.
And so it's been tough for the family not being able to spend time with her, and I think tough for her because she doesn't have the same level of interaction.
Yes.
But she's healthy, and that's all I can really that's all I really care about. Truthfully.
Of course.
But yeah, so that film will be coming out end of next month, and then developing I think 3 or 4 other features. Got another project in the early stages of development with the same writer as the announcement, RJ Lackey, and just trying to get things made.
Good for you. Well, I'm very proud of you. That's
Oh,
amazing.
thank
It's
you.
good stuff. And like I said, we'll definitely talk down the road when the film is being released because
I hope so.
I would really like to see it. So we'll connect on that for sure. But congratulations
Absolutely.
on this. And like I say, it's very, very intriguing. Great little thriller. And like
Thank
12
you.
minutes, people, like 12 minutes. You can handle 12 minutes of your time. Watch it for sure. Zach, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you and meeting you. And
Yeah,
best of
same as
luck with
well.
everything.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
You take care and stay safe and healthy.
Thanks. You too.
Okay, take care. Bye bye. Thanks for your time.
Bye.